This person says, separation of church and state isn't spelled out anywhere in the Constitution. I implore you to look for yourself. It's not there. The words separation of church and state are not, but the idea behind, the thought process behind separation in church and state is in the Constitution. As a matter of fact, it's spelled out in the First Amendment. If you're going to come after me for saying that the specific words separation of church and state are not there, then I'm going to come back at you and say, then at the end of the day, neither is the word gun. Arms are what's called out. Should we have the federal government just redefine what arms are? Because at the time, arms took on a very different word, or very different meaning than they do today. So let's not talk about how those specific words are not in there. Let's talk about how the idea of separation in church and state, the thought process behind separating church and state is in the Constitution. Right here, you see the First Amendment to the Constitution, and it begins with, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. And it goes into free speech, abridging the freedom of the press, so forth and so on. It is literally the first line in the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Now, does this mean separation of church and state? Yes, as has been upheld multiple times by the Supreme Court. For example, McCollum v. Board of Education, the Supreme Court ruled that releasing students from public school to attend religious services did in fact violate the First Amendment's Establishment Clause. Espinoza v. Montana Department of Revenue, the Supreme Court upheld a Montana law that provided tax credits to people who donated to organizations that provided students with a private school scholarship. The court found that the program did not promote or favor a religion, because that would be a violation of the First Amendment. So yes, the Constitution of the United States does in fact have the separation of church and state. It's always been there. It has been upheld multiple times by the Supreme Court. It is widely agreed upon in the history of this nation that line from that amendment means the separation of church and state.